Welcome to the Human Design Festival.
Live in Sofia and online worldwide.
Hello and welcome to the virtual space of the Human Design Element. We have gathered here to talk about the upcoming International Human Design Festival. My name is Lucretia, and together with Veronica, we are organizing this amazing event live in Sofia and also online worldwide in 2026. And we have a very special guest today, Holliday. And hello to you, Veronica.
Hello. And it is such a privilege for me to actually present Hunt because, as I was just telling him before we started recording, this was really the highlight for me from all the um, lectures, educations. I'm also a cosmologist and PTL certified analyst, LYD guide. I did a lot of training and I loved my teachers. But the highlight of my experience and experiment was when I met Hunt. Because I did have my sacral voice, I was connected to my sacral voice, but then to be in an environment where you're respected all the way for your sacred voice was really during the immersion we had in Sofia. So I'm really humbled and love to present to you Hunt. Hi, Hunt.
Hello. These things are always so odd for me, you know? It's it's not it's such an unnatural thing, versus when you just meet each other in life or it's a regular phone call. But yeah, it's good to see you again.
We're actually so glad to have you come live in Sofia and have the possibility for other people to experience what an immersion is, as created by Marianne Winegar, and always different. Every immersion is always so different because this is life. This is experiencing life and experimenting in real life with your strategy and authority and not just talking about it, not just mind fucking about it, but the real thing, the real experience. So, Hunt, would you say a few words about yourself and maybe also about what is an immersion actually?
Yeah. Well, I guess as far as myself, I think the things that people tend to be most interested is how long have I been in my experiment and, how has it changed my life? And my sense is my story is similar to other people's story, which is met human design. And on an intellectual mind level, it was like, oh my God, what is this? This is unbelievable. And dove into it from that perspective too. But never really actually understanding what it meant to be a generator with sacral authority. And so then I fell into the common trap of any system, especially a system that explains yourself, is your mind can take all the details and say, oh, yeah, look, that's me. Well, that's why that's me. That's why that's me. And everything becomes, well, that's because I have this gate, or that's because I have this thing, and blah, blah, blah. But I didn't have any idea what it meant to wait to respond. I didn't even know what waiting. I couldn't understand waiting really. It was like, what does that mean, waiting? Okay. And then the mind trying to think what it could mean and then thinking that you're doing it. And it didn't matter how many things I listened to raw. It was just like, okay, he's saying the same thing, but I'm not any more clear. So I just, let me get the details more. Maybe it's in the details. I'll study more of the details. And it wasn't until I met Marianne Winegar, that meeting her and having her ask me a question changed everything, which I've shared this story before. but it seems to be very important for really each type, but also especially for, in my experience, the sacral authority. When I had some silly question for her, she took a moment and then just asked me, "Are you a generator?" And I had this sound come out that just went, aha. And I guess I was lucky because in that moment, I recognized what just happened, you know, and what all of a sudden it meant what I was waiting for. I was waiting for that noise to make it out of my body. But it was the part that she said afterwards that was really the key, you know, which was she shared with me after she got her sound that Ra told her, I can never believe anything that you say in words, and nor should you. And she shared that with me. And that began the beginning understanding of what I would soon to become to understand what is my mind. Because all of a sudden it was like, it didn't matter what I felt in my body, you know. The only thing that mattered that I could trust, which I didn't even know what trust was back then, was if this sound actually presented itself outside my body, that would be the only thing that I could then begin the journey of realizing that there was something about that was reliable, right? That it was reliable, which to me, that's what trust is trying to point at, is reliability. And all of the sensations or the feelings that I had, I would learn over time, didn't matter, because I would have sometimes experiences where it would feel like something was a yes, like that's got to be a yes. And then I would have an ally, somebody next to me, who'd ask me what they were seeing, and they would ask me in a yes no way about whatever it seemed like I was excited about or whatever. And I would end up getting an and it would be like, wait a minute, hold on. But everything in here is screaming like that should be a yes. How am I getting an And it was interesting too, because the cuts through even the physical experience like a hot knife through butter. So it was also the sound gave me this just brought me right back into the center, realizing that some of those sensations in my body are actually just conditioned pathways, right? Around something that I'm used to or think that I'm excited about or whatever else. And so that started to help me understand through an experience of like, oh, I can't trust those sensations. Can't trust what seems like would be a yes or even what would be a no, because I would get things that would clearly feel like my energy was pulling away or it was diminishing or that it was like almost like a knot or just like, and what it would turn into was it would turn into something that I would actually still have to participate or face because it might be a need. And I would respond to a need, not a want. So it was this whole thing of like realizing, oh my God, this sound is very important, and that my mind has no idea what it means or why it came. It just presents itself, and my body is vulnerable enough to the outside things that can come in that to try and trust it is still not quite it. It's not quite it. So even if some of the sensations I would have in my body would match a sound that seemed to do it, it wasn't 100%. And so it was like, okay, so it says I really just, it's got to be this sound. I don't know, but that's how I got there. Did that, I don't know, give you a little bit of an intro?
Yeah, great intro. And I wonder now how to ask you the next question in a yes, no way, because the slogan of the festival is be in your element. And I want to ask you,
Mm,
what is your element? Um,
mm.
I don't know how to ask in a yes, no way. I have to ask you about, is it
Would you like
doing
would you like
immersions your
to,
element?
would you like to share with us where are you in your element? Where do you find yourself in?
Yeah.
Yeah.
My sense is that the to me the word you're using, element, is really what do I have the most energy for?
Uh-huh, uh-huh.
And I don't know, I've never been asked this, but the sense that I have is it's just to be me. It's just to be me. There's no thing out there that is as beautiful as it is to just rest inside here, to just be me, whatever it is. You know, when I do an immersion, there's nothing that I'm doing. I'm not doing anything. I'm just me. And people pull questions out of me. They pull explanations out of me. They pull my experience out of me, and I get to share that with them. And then that potentially helps them in their own experiment, or it doesn't. So these are words that I'm obviously giving to something that I don't know if it's true or not.
Is it true?
Yeah. Yeah. That the rest of my life is just about being me. And what that means is it's just about staying in here, in this frequency. You know, there's been a thing on Raw TV, I think lately. I've seen it pop up on some of the reels and stuff on social media. And it's just Raw talking about, I don't care what your design is, I don't care what your type is. I just care that you're present to your life. And if element could be applied to try to describe that, that seems to be what it is. It's just to be present to myself and then to discover anything else that I do inside that, how much it's enjoyable or not enjoyable to do those things. But as long as I have me, those things are just like meals. You know, maybe some of them are more enjoyable than others, or maybe some of them are yuck. But ultimately, it doesn't really matter because I've got me. So that's probably it.
Guys, did you feel that? Like, I'm just so grateful to have met you, honestly.
Is that true?
Uh-huh.
And that's the thing, like with Veronica, I can never believe anything that you say in words either about
Uh-huh.
you or your life, you know? And so when I ask you back, you know, it's for you. It's for you.
And that's how I feel so respected. It's amazing to have somebody really respect my energy. It's like, wow.
that answer your question?
Uh-huh. Lucretia, we have other questions. Do you want to go ahead and ask them?
Yeah, the all-time favorite question, I guess, would be about the mind. So I wonder how it was for you when you first heard this concept from human design. I don't think human design is the knowledge that first spoke about this. But anyway, when you heard it, like don't like when Ra would say like don't trust your mind. The mind is not there for decisions. So when you heard that, how was it for you? It was a bit too shocking, or something that you already discovered for yourself in another way.
Mm, until I met Marianne and had that moment with her that started everything, hearing that from Ra was the same as hearing it in anything else I'd ever heard it in. And it played out the same way that it played out in every other thing that I'd ever heard that in, which is the mind literally can't keep track of its own interference of your life. Like, oh yeah, look, oh, but there's my mind again, and blah 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 blah. But then the next moment it'd be like, but then it would be back in charge talking about something else. Oh no, but I don't like chocolate. You know, it's like the mind could recognize itself when it was, I don't know, about something that wasn't personal to you. But as soon as it had to do with me, it was like all of a sudden it wasn't my mind. So, and I watched this. I watched this happen with people who think they are in their experiment, but it's clear that they're not because of the way that their mind shows up. It becomes, you watch a contradiction. So I was a contradiction, right? Here I was able to use the language of human design that could explain all this stuff and then think that I was talking not about my mind, but it was just my mind parading as me still. And it wasn't until, and even more so, more than my sound, more than my inner authority, it was understanding what it meant to wait. That waiting was really what revealed my mind to me. Because it was like, when our inner authorities are not speaking up, meaning there's nothing for it to say yes or even no to, which I think with generators is a common misconception that just because we get questions, we have a response, you know, which is just not true. And it's in that space that the mind can get really loud and it can be believed again. You know, it can start to sneak in and make us believe things again. And so it was in the waiting that, and not getting sounds, that really it was like this thing started screaming at me, oh, you got to do this, or what about this, or find this, or, you know, what is this? And it was just like, oh my God, oh my God, oh my God, there's, you know. And anytime a generator or a manifesting generator goes to another generator, an ally, to say, try to get questions, you know, to, because something's going on, and you want to see if there's a sound that can come to kind of settle everything down or make the mind go away. Well, that's initiating, right? So that's the mind. That's the mind making us go initiate. And even when it would do that, and I would get these questions and I would get no responses. Didn't matter how distressed I was. There was no like, are you going to be okay? Will you be okay? Do you need anything? You know, whatever the other person had energy for to try and help me, and to get nothing and to watch this thing get louder, but then ultimately to not give in to anything that it would say and not have a sound kind of appease me, right? It was inside of that place that the chemistry of whatever that was would finally give way. It would finally collapse on itself. And then I would be okay again. And I would have no questions. There was nothing from the outside that came in to rescue me, save me, give me my sound. It was just waiting and not eating what my was telling me. That it was like, oh, the key to understanding your mind is waiting. It's waiting. It is not our inner authorities. It is waiting. And if you don't know what it means to wait, I don't know how you're ever going to truly know your mind. So it was inside that. And the last thing to fall away for me was the trick that generators and manifesting generators can come to, which is because we can always go to another generator or manifesting generator and we can ask, can I share? You know, can I share is the big one. Can I share? Can I share? You know, that was the last thing to fall away in Marianne's immersions. Sitting in the immersion and something would pop in there and I would just ask Marianne, oh, can I share? And she normally would have an uh-huh. So that was the last impetus of my mind's ability to interfere with my life. It was, you could call it the most harmless way, right? Because it still had to gain the permission of the other to participate in whatever it was trying to participate in. But what it was doing was it was still interfering with my process of waiting. And so that was its way of still getting in and maintaining a little bit of it, of what it wanted, right? And it was when that finally fell away that it was just like, oh yeah, my mind is essentially gone. Meaning its ability to interfere with my life is now truly, there's no real energy for it. It doesn't, that impetus to want to participate, there was just no energy to even have that occur anymore. Does that make sense what I'm saying?
Yes, totally.
So that's how it went, you know, is it was the slow process of discovering there just wasn't any energy anymore to care about however it wanted to initiate.
Yeah.
Can I have a question from the mind?
Yeah.
My mind wants to know, how long did it take you? Was it like 1 month or 3 years?
No. That was, now there was something that I saw that was kind of unique in a sense with my brother and I, because my brother basically got the experiment at the same time I did because I came home and I initiated with him with the whole like this new thing. But my brother and I knew that if we spoke in words or asked another a question, we knew it was our mind. We knew it. We knew we were initiating. Right. And even though that took years to fall away, I found that being accountable to the truth of the experience is very empowering. right? Because the other part that I see is I see people who are doing the same thing, but they're not really wanting to recognize that, hey, you're still initiating. It's like there's some part that the mind wants to protect that mechanism or that thing, or they don't, the mind doesn't want to be incorrect. It doesn't want to not be accurate. It wants to justify that, no, but I get to do this because, or no, but it's not the same. It somehow has that versus going, oh yeah, that's still happening. Yes, that's still initiating. I don't know. I don't know how to stop it. Right. I know all the rules. I know, don't, wait. I know. I believe me, I know. Like sometimes my brother and I would even joke and we'd be like, I would love not to do that anymore. Right. Because even the frequency of it's just off. To just do that feels off. It's like, no. I'm not being where I belong, which is just waiting for the outside to come to me. So it was, but it seems valuable in this experiment that there are things that we have to see along the way. And so this becoming very familiar with this little trap, right? This little trap seems as though it may have value because there are plenty of other people in their experiment who are doing this. And they might not recognize it. And so to have an intimate experience with it and be able to talk about it may help them go, oh God, I do that. That does happen for me. And then maybe something inside them shifts and that starts to fall away for them also. So that took years. I mean, probably all 7 or 8 for that piece to finally just stop.
Wow.
Did that answer your question?
Yes, thank you very much. Yes.
Well,
so for everybody who is going to see this video, like if you would like to experience firsthand everything that we have been sharing here, especially on Holiday, so do come to the festival and join the immersion and see it for yourself.
The drill is over, guys. It's now the times to really fall into that authenticity. Would you like to come? We would be so glad to have you if you resonate to us and to hunt. But if I can recommend this experience, I do it wholeheartedly. It really makes a difference and change in the energy and how you are with yourself and with the world. It was a pleasure to meet you again, Hunt. And I don't know what you do with me, but it's like you stick your finger in my soul somehow and remind me every time how important it is to be centered, and because it's beautiful to be us.
Yeah. Yeah, it's worth living this.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Well, guys, stay tuned for more and see you soon. Bye.
Yeah, you guys.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Would you like to join us?
And truly be in your element.